All right, guys, we're going to keep on rolling. So I am going to share with you another kind of quick hit, 15 ideas in 15 minutes to stretch your marketing budget. So something we heard from a lot of staff, both in interviews and site visits, is that marketing dollars are limited. So we wanted to give you some ideas on how you could do the most with what you have. Again, I've divided these into some categories. The first one is automation. So how can you let robots help you do the work? So if you're not already using a social media scheduling tool, you definitely should. It will help you get ahead of content planning, but it also will just reduce the amount of time you spend day to day touching your social media accounts. You definitely have to check in and make sure that you didn't schedule something that no longer seems relevant. Things happen and change so quickly on social media, so don't set it and forget it. You have to check in. And make sure you're monitoring, of course, daily. Even though I said check in weekly, I meant to make sure your content calendar is still good, okay? Idea 2, set up Google Alerts on all kinds of things. So we use Google Alerts for PR to, check the pulse on what people are saying about our institutions or our theaters, but also consider using Google Alerts to help you figure out where there are content opportunities out on the web for you to take advantage of. So if you have a film coming on a particular topic, set up a Google Alert for that topic so that anytime there's news related to it, you can be on social media talking about that related news, and it just helps you stay relevant in what people are already talking about. Free. MailChimp. I know this is complicated. Email is so complicated in the museum and theater space because it's tied to your donor and member management systems or ticketing systems or whatever. I get that. I've been on both sides, marketing and technology, of trying to make that better. But MailChimp is so cheap, and it is increasingly better all the time. It's outperforming all the other tools, and the automations that it offers you for free that are built in are wonderful, and it can help you stay top of mind with your audiences. Nonprofits get a free premium account on Canva.com. If you haven't heard of it, it's a really wonderful site that allows you to create design templates for things like email headers and images, social media post images. It can even do print materials now. So it's a way for you to collaborate. If you're not in marketing or you're not in the design department, it's a way for you to collaborate with those people, set some agreed design styles, and then this tool allows you to pump out content that doesn't take a designer to actually do, and it can really streamline the process to help you get more marketing, more content out quickly. Use tracking pixels on Facebook. If you have an ad account on Facebook, you can have a tracking pixel, and it will allow you to much more efficiently spend your social ad budget. So if you're advertising on social media and your website does not have tracking pixels, you have waste in your spend. All right, delegate. So how can you delegate some of the stuff that you have to do to extend your team? Tasco.co is an interesting site. It allows you to outsource really repetitive tasks for low cost. If, like me, you're worried about who's being paid $5 an hour for data entry, it is a company that works with global partners to make sure they're paying fair wages to people in the communities in which they work. So that means that we get to take advantage of their being a global economy, and in some places it's a fair wage to do work lower than it is here. So if you have data entry work, like you had an event and somebody filled out a card and you need somebody to enter 500 of those into your database, you can send them to Tasco and they'll do it for $100 or $2, and that saves you a ton of time. That money is buying you time. I also think that identifying a staff videographer is an interesting way to save money and create more content. Video is the thing that everybody wants right now, and it is so hard for us to pack into our marketing budgets enough money to make all the video content that we need. So who on your team is passionate about this, good at it, has an eye for it? There are so many inexpensive tools that help you produce high-quality looking content for social media, particularly with your iPhone or your Android device. So there's a link here. You can get this in the presentation to get some tips on cheap lenses and stabilization, stuff like that, to make your videos better. All right, train somebody to add your films to local shared calendars. There are so many calendars out there, and we talk about improving your Google search results. You know, this is a way that you can show up in more places, not just for Google, but being relevant to kind of where people are hanging out in your community. So this could be on Nextdoor, if you use that app. It could be church calendars, school calendars, community organizations, CVBs, local news outlets. They all have events calendars, and your films could be on them. Use software to save time. I can't say enough about it. If a tool will give your team more time, like we are limited certainly by ad spend budget as a nonprofit or cultural institution, or if you are operating a theater within a larger org, then your budget is limited by whatever it is. But I would argue that time is often the resource that we are struggling with more than that, because there are so many things that we have to do to make it all happen. So use software wisely, but please make sure that you have somebody on your team that is advocating for you, and don't buy dumb software you don't need. It's so easy to do that. And then ask visitors to do some marketing for you. So we've talked about this in a couple of ways today. Running promotions or offering discounts or freebies in exchange for reviews on Google Places, TripAdvisor, and Yelp. People are really looking there when they're making decisions, particularly tourists. So if you live in a big tourist market, like this one is even more important. Okay, finally, innovation. What's happening in marketing that you can use to do more for less? Running video ads. Video ads are by far and away outperforming other types of content right now, but that won't always be the case. One of the wonderful yet challenging things, I'm sure Brian will agree when he talks about social later, is that it's not a static environment, right? So what is true today might not be true tomorrow. So take advantage of that one quickly. And try advertising on Reddit. It is super cheap, it has really high reach, and it allows you to target subreddits focused on all kinds of topics. So if you have something space related or environmental related, it's really easy to find the people who care about those things on Reddit. Use your bathrooms as advertising space. We talked about signage earlier, and you want to put signage in places where people can spend time looking at it, and here is one. So use that space to your advantage. Giphy. So everybody loves using animated GIFs in your text messages and your personal communications. Consider using Giphy.com to create animated GIFs that you can use in email and on social. Email doesn't support video very well yet, so animated GIFs are a great way to get movement and action in your email campaigns, and you can do that for free on Giphy. This is my favorite. Partner with a local brewery to create a film-inspired beer. We have a brewery in Indianapolis called Sun King Brewery, and they make beers for all kinds of stuff. Gen Con, Comic Con, runs. There's a marathon and there's a beer. And so think about how your local breweries could support what you're doing with thematic things that you can cross-promote, and it's as simple as buying a stack of coasters that you put in your lobby and that they have in their tasting rooms, and then suddenly you have this kind of grassroots field marketing opportunity that's really low cost. Okay, that's it. I think I did it in 10 minutes. Woo!